Good morning, everybody, and welcome to our next webinar for the Totango Academy Live. Today we're going to be talking about some of our latest and greatest releases around SuccessPlays and a new account scorecard, which most of you know as our account profile. A little bit about me. Some of you have already worked with me in the past and have attended our webinars. I'm Cecilia Tavel. I'm one of the customer success managers here and really love working with you guys, and thanks for joining. A little bit of housekeeping. So we will have a little bit of time at the end for you to ask questions. So feel free as we go through the webinar to type them into the question box. And we'll take as many questions as we can, and if we don't have time, we'll follow up with you directly after the session. Also, we will be having more webinars, so stay tuned. There's going to be an opportunity for you to provide feedback at the end of this webinar. So please feel free to let us know what other topics you're interested in and what we can do to improve so that this can be something that you and your team can enjoy going forward. So as far as the agenda for today, we're going to be talking about how to customize your account scorecard. We will start looking at how to set up a SuccessPlays in Totango, and also discuss some of the ways to standardize and automate your best practices using the SuccessPlays capability. Just to let you know, the SuccessPlays is currently part of our Pro Plus package. So if you don't already have that set up, please reach out to your customer success manager and discuss your options as far as getting that enabled for your organization. So most of you have already seen the new account profile scorecard. Some of the highlights of this is really exciting for us internally as well as CSMs, a lot of the new flexible components within the specific account scorecard. I'll also demo this after we go through the slides, but wanted to highlight some of the newest enhancements. So part of the new release allows you to really see a lot of the data points that you're sending to Totango that you were not able to expose within a particular view for your account. And now you have the capability to actually manipulate what is important, what does your team need to see, and expose that within the really nice and slick view within the account scorecard. You can also decide how to best track the specific criteria or keep data points that are relevant for your team to make decisions on. So if you see that something is improving or decreasing as far as specific metrics, you can really have your team enabled and empowered to make decisions right on the fly, right when they look at the account profile. You also have some information about how your users or how active your users are within each account. There's a really neat section that I'll dive in deeper that shows the leaders of each account. So they're ranked in order. You can see who are your top customer users within a particular account. And you can also see which parts of your product they're actually taking advantage of. And a lot of the sections are configurable, so you can really rotate and massage the information that is important to your team. You can make it relevant and customizable. Just FYI, the customization sections and only admin users are allowed to make any changes to the scorecard settings. And the other part of our new release is going to focus on SuccessPlays. So the SuccessPlays is really a great way to automate the best practices that you already have established as an organization, or it allows you to kind of open up that door for strategizing about what would be your best practices for your team. It becomes something that's structured, something that you can really automate and essentially set it and forget it without having to create anything manually. You know, a lot of times customer success team leads or directors or VPs and chief customer officers have some programs or initiatives, and this is a really good way to actually map them out for the team and extend across the organization without having to manually think about it and create anything within the system. So basically, when you set this up, you'll have an ability to also integrate it into your CRM system. So if you're already using Salesforce, there's already a capability that we have enabled where you can set up SuccessPlays that can also sync inside your Salesforce CRM and allows you to have visibility into what is happening not only in Totango but also in your other system of record, which for a lot of our customers happens to be Salesforce. So you have visibility in both places. So with that, I'm actually going to get into a demo instance of Totango and walk you through the specific components and have a live demo of these capabilities. So as I log into my Totango, this is something you're familiar with where you have your portfolio. I'm actually going to dive into a specific account so that I can review the scorecard sections with you in detail. So I'm looking at my customer, and I have OmniDrive in front of me. And the section that you see at the very top, this area, this panel on the top, has all the key data points that are relevant for me as an organization. So as an organization, we decided that these are the key metrics and data points that we'd like to have exposed. As I mentioned before, this was very rigid and very static information that Totango had available to you, and a lot of our customers were reaching out and actually requesting to have more flexibility because something that is important for one organization may not be so important for another. And when you send data to Totango, you have a lot of flexibility as far as what attributes you're sending, what are the key data points that are relevant for your business, and it's really great to have the ability to expose those key data points within this view so that your team has all the insights at their fingertips right when they log in and look at an account. So in this particular case, we have all these important ones: status, obviously, if a customer's paying or not, their date of creation, the renewal date is actually, there's a color change to this to symbolize that the renewal is actually closely coming. So we have a renewal here. It was July 31st, that hasn't been updated, but if anything that's in the near future, the color of this is going to be yellow. We also have contract information, success manager, journey stage, and number of tickets and licenses. If you wanted to customize this, there's a little settings wheel. Again, as I mentioned, only the admin level users on Totango can have capability to make any changes. So if you do want something modified, please discuss with your admin and work with them to get this updated for your specific instance. But if I wanted to get something else that's important to me, so maybe we have a CSM subjective rating that we track for all of our customers, and if I wanted to have that information available to me, I can actually select that particular data point and click on the little check mark, and then now instantaneously I have this data available to me to make decisions about using that information. So it's very easy to add items to this and remove items the same way I just showed you. As I navigate a little bit further down, so the very recent improvement on health has become so much more intuitive, and if you have been with us for a little while, you know what I'm talking about here. The reasons for health are so much more clear. Basically, whatever you have defined to be your health definition, it is now very easy to understand when you're looking at an account why that particular account is in a particular health state. So in this particular case, we see that our customer is in good health, and we know exactly the reasons for why that customer is in good health. So we know that they have met their threshold for minimum number of active days. And as I hover over these thresholds, I can actually see what is the actual definition within my health configuration. So I see that this customer has been active for 26 days, and my threshold for good health is 20. So it's very easy for me to really quickly understand where I'm at. Now, in this particular case, there's something not applicable, so we move on. On the unique users, I have 17, and my threshold is 5. I have a metric that we have configured, which is part of our custom metrics capability to define a user strength component. So how much are our users really leveraging the product? And I see that we're above what we have specified for someone to be in good health. And I also see that their license utilization is above our threshold. So overall, very happy, healthy customer based on what we have established for our criteria. I also see which type of profile they fall into. So I know this is a profile that's defining our established customers in the large component space. And also what I can do, I can basically hover over my timeline and see how changes, what changes have happened and what were the health transitions throughout the time frames. So that's something that's very similar to what you're used to already. Now, as I continue to move down the screen here, this area, this portlet here with the key metrics, is completely configurable now as well. So we have 3 visuals that you are allowed to bring in and basically have a visibility as far as a quick little graph to show trends for any of the metrics that are important to you. And right now we have active users, total activities, and time per user. If you wanted to modify this, again, you have the little wheel here where you can edit the metrics and bring in things that are important and potentially remove things that you're not interested in. And then there's items or data points that you're able to bring in. There's 6 options for you here that will not be graphically represented, but you will have information about them, and you can click on the little chart next to them to get the visual representation as well. So if I was going to look at the, let's say, real utilization, which is another custom metric that we have defined, and click on that, I can actually easily see the trends for that particular metric as well. So this is very powerful. Again, think about what metrics are important for your business and what is going to be critical and relevant for your team to view when they look in the account. As I continue to move down the line, I have 2 really neat areas as well that have been added. So now I can actually use the user leaderboard section to understand who are my top users and how active they are in the system. The default here is going to be last 14 days. I can always change that to the scope that I'm interested in, up to 90 days. And I can see on the scale of 14 days how many days out of those 14 each of the users have been active. And then something really neat as well is the new users capability. So if I look at this and if I had any new users that were added to the system, and I have one that was added in the last 30 days, now gives me a reason to reach out and say hello to Val and maybe invite him to a webinar or training session. I have that information right at my fingertips, and I can do something with that information. Now if I go back to top users, I'm brought back to the same screen. If we navigate over to the usage leaderboard, we have an informational section here that's also benchmarking our existing customer to other customers in the same bucket of customers, so somebody who's also in the same health profile. In this particular screen, you would see all their modules that are being leveraged by your customer. In this particular case, this customer is using only the reports module, and if, let's say, I have 4 other modules that are really important, that's something that's meaningful to me as I look at this, because I will want to bring that up in my next conversation with that customer as I try to engage them more and show more value across different areas of the product that can benefit them. But if we look at the reports and how this customer is using them, we see that there's 10 users that are active within the reporting module out of 13. And I also see, when I hover over this, I see that similar accounts in the same profile configuration are also at 10. So this customer is essentially on par with all the other customers in their cohort group. But if they were below or above, that would give me also an indication of, are they doing better than an average customer in the same bucket, or are they a little bit below and behind, which would give me some incentive to encourage them to further adopt this particular component of the product to catch up to their peers. So that's something that has been enhanced. We have also been using this in our business review meetings with customers, and this is something new as a team can also start leveraging. At this point, it's very easy to just grab a quick screenshot of this component and extend that to your customers as you have your meetings with them and analyze and discuss what other areas of your product they can take advantage of. As I continue moving down the line, there's a new section called About the Company. So this is information that we are getting from a third-party vendor that gives you at a glance view into specific background information on the customer that you're working with, a quick description about the business. Also, a lot of the social networking links are available to you. If this company was funded by venture capital firms, you would have information about how much funding they've raised so far. So it really gives you a lot more, you know, at a glance insights that are important as you look at your customer holistically and understand overall what is the state of their business based on some of, you know, financial information, etc. As I continue to move down the line, the tagging, tags that are applied on an account, which if you remember used to be at the very top, now are in this section. Nothing has changed around this capability. You still have an ability to edit your tags manually if you ever need to remove some. And if you have any active lists that are running and are active, the tags will continue to be applied dynamically as they were in the past. And moving on down the line, this screen really, or the bottom of this page, hasn't changed. It's basically the same representation that you're used to. So you'll have several tabs. Your users tab, which will have all the users on the system. Your usage tab, which will have all the specific aggregated information as far as what modules and actions have been performed. You have a specific tab for tasks that are set up on the account. You have your link to the timeline, information, any attributes that are available and being sent to the system, either from your CRM, like Salesforce, or directly from your product. And you also have an activity stream, which is real-time you know, information as to who is accessing your product at this time. So I'm going to go back to the top and discuss the right side section of the screen here. So now what you have is an ability to manipulate and really manage your tasks directly in this view. You can complete tasks directly in here. You can also add new tasks if you needed to directly within the screen. So that's really nice, everything in one place. And as I move down the line, I have my timeline. And the timeline, again, is a way for you guys to note any interaction that you have had with a customer. It also gives you historical representation of what has been done with a customer for this account. And I can also make any touch point comments directly in the screen. So moving down the line, the last remaining and really, really cool item as well is a team component. So the team for Totango and the defaults are the success manager and the sales manager. So these are the data points that you are sending to Totango. We'll know who is the success manager and who is the sales manager responsible for an account. And something that's really new is the key contacts area, where you can actually designate your key contacts for each account by specifying their name. They will actually receive the school crown. And when you look at them in the leaderboard, they'll be crowned as well. So you will know who's kind of like your queen or king of that account. It makes it really, really cool and impactful if anybody else on your team that maybe is not familiar with a customer can look in and quickly see who is your main contact within that account. So with that, I'm going to move on to SuccessPlays, and I know we're kind of rushing through this, but you know, if you have any follow-up questions, you know, your customer success manager will also be able to review this in greater detail with you. So moving on to the SuccessPlays, this is a section on the left navigation panel. If you don't have it currently enabled, when you click on this, it will actually let you know that that's the case. And feel free to discuss your options with your customer success manager. They will be happy to discuss on how you can take advantage of this awesome new capability. So by default, when you click in, there are some recommended plays that are going to be out of the box available to you. Some of them are, you know, something like a kickoff renewal plan, weekly active users drop. So, you know, we track your obviously usage for your users. and if you see a steep decline, you want to reach out and have some sort of automated process and an approach to get those users back on track. So there are going to be out-of-the-box things that you can repurpose and leverage without having to build anything from scratch. But you do have a lot of capability to build your own SuccessPlay based on your own specific business needs. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to give you a quick overview of how to build one from scratch. And again, this is going to be a quick demo. So if you do have questions, let's regroup again with your Success Manager to dive in deeper. So when I click on Create New SuccessPlay, the first step for me is to get some basic information into the description and name area. So I'm going to create an upsell opportunity play here for me and for my team. And I'm typing in a quick description. And then what I'll do, I have an ability to select my criteria here. So for my upsell opportunities, I want to look at customers that are paying. And I want to focus at this point on customers that are in good health. So as you noted, once I clicked on paying, right away in real time at the right of the screen, I get a little preview, which gives you at a glance insight as to how many customers are going to be impacted by your SuccessPlay. So as I continue to add more criteria, this will continue to get updated for me. So right now, if I only look at paying customers that are in good health, I have 33 accounts that meet that criteria. This is how much revenue is represented by those accounts. There's 24% of paying customers that fit into this condition. And some of the things that I would want to focus here, I want to make sure that I'm reaching out for opportunities for customers that are at high license utilization. And that's all I wanted for that. If there's anything else that is important for looking at an upsell opportunity, I can actually use the advanced editor and pick out specific conditions that are important. So maybe you have tracked your consumption based on something other than licenses, and you want to see that particular component above a certain threshold. You can choose that. Really anything that we track for you based on an attribute value that comes either from Salesforce or potentially from your directly from your application, you can use that to build your SuccessPlay. So there's a lot of options here, but I'm not going to get more granular in here because I think we have enough with the license utilization. So I'll skip out of that. So I have my basic conditions defined. I have a preview of my segment. I can also review to make sure that I'm not missing anything and the accounts that fall into the upsell criteria for me actually make sense. So I have a way to look at who these customers are. I can quickly audit that to make sure everything's good to go, and then I move on. So after I'm happy with what I've defined, I can continue. And then the next set of things that I need to do is really define what is it I'm asking my team to do. So what I'm asking my team to do is to reach out to customer and discuss upsell. And I can select who this is going to be assigned to. The nice, powerful key thing here is that I can assign it to the Success Manager responsible for an account automatically. And it's going to be assigned by me by default unless I want to specify someone else that should be the owner and assigner of the SuccessPlay. I can set up priority and set up the due date as to how many days after the task is created I want this task to be done. So let's say I'll give someone 5 days. And I can also define if this task should be created on entry or on exit. And typically on entry because I want to make sure that whenever a customer meets the specific conditions for upsell, I want someone to reach out and actually try to upsell them. So what I've done, I have set up this task. If I have any other tasks in the SuccessPlay, I can have more added to this list. And then if there's a sequential or some sort of process that needs to be followed, on top of just reaching out and discussing an upsell. Maybe you need to prepare a customized deck, or maybe you need to engage your account executive on the sales team. You can actually set up additional tasks for that. But let's assume this is sufficient. So what I have added, what I've done is just I have one task, and then I'm going to click on continue. And then I have the definition for my success play. I have my preview. I have the specific task that is going to go out. I can set up the status to be active, so that when I launch the success play, it's going to be activated and the tasks are going to be sent to the team. And so what I'll do next, I will actually go ahead and activate this success play. What I'll get is this pop-up window saying that your success play will be activated and tasks will be created once criteria is met. And it's also letting me know that additionally 20 tasks will be created now for the 20 accounts already in the segment. So it's basically going to include all the customers that already meet the conditions and have already met the criteria as set up, in addition to the ones that are also going to enter the list. So when I click on continue, now my success play is activated. I will have it available to me to review. I will also, if this was a live instance, you would actually see how many accounts are impacted in real time. And then you will be able to track progress as to how many tasks are being created, how am I doing as far as tracking against completion of those tasks, and kind of a breakdown of the process and the progress so far. So I think that's all the time we have as far as the demo. I know we're just approaching the end of the webinar, and I know it probably felt like it was really quick. So we'd be happy to regroup with you directly. Please do reach out to your customer success manager if you have any questions, and we will get back to you if you have submitted any questions, as we didn't really have much time in the session. And again, thank you, everybody. Please do complete a little survey at the end of this webinar, and we'll look forward to seeing you again next time in a couple of weeks. Thank you so much. Take care, and bye-bye.